Miceli! And I loved you on HBO's Barry. Just sound it out. Yeah, you'll get a 1 at a time. All right, on deck is Glenn Sheridan. But coming to the stage right now, make it loud for Canadian Nick!
All right.
Yeah, I'll tell you a few things about myself. I'm Canadian. I came down from Toronto, and I'm hanging out with a bunch of ministers and wannabe ministers. I'm one of the wannabes. And this is really weird. I'm not a comic. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I have an idea how I landed on this stage. So I had to give a sermon. This is my first sermon, and you know you have to give an inspiring sermon when you're a minister. So I gave my inspiring sermon, and a bunch of people said to me, "You should be a stand-up comic." So much for the inspiration.
All right.
But I gotta blame Geneviève. I come from Canada, so I know how to say French names. But I better stop this because I may lose a friend. So I've been to several American cities. I seem to keep coming back to Los Angeles. This is the city I've probably visited more times than any. I got to tell you about my friend Larry. I met him in Toronto when he was a draft dodger, and that tells you how old I am.
Yeah. All right.
But he moved back to Los Angeles, and I came down to visit him once. And at one of his busiest work times, he took 3 days off to hang out with me and another Canadian that he knew when he was in Canada. And I remember sitting here and sitting in some cafe, having a champagne brunch with lots of champagne. So that's one of my memories. But back when Larry was in Toronto, he was a druggie. He used that thing that's called dope or weed. That's 1970s slang. So that tells you again how old I am. But he told me he knew somebody who could get peyote. So I got together with Scott. He was a really interesting guy. He lived with his parents in a mansion. He had probably worth about twice as much money, or as much money as me and Larry together. But he had a business that his folks didn't know anything about. He was a drug dealer, and we got stoned at his house on peyote buttons. Peyote's a really good way to get high, but it does have a small problem. It makes you throw up, and you don't want to throw up. There goes your high. But Scott worked around it by making peyote banana daiquiris. Put the peyote and bananas into a blender, and it worked. It worked. We kept the product down. And we were hanging out. We were hanging out with Scott's parents, and they had no idea. Their son was blitzed, and I was blitzed. But I decided, while I was as high as a kite, that I really wanted to go to my class in vector algebra. What kind of a nerd likes vector algebra? I thought vector algebra was like science fiction. You could go into any number of dimensions you wanted, and I thought it was really cool. So I said, I want to go to class, and Scott says, I'll drive you to the subway. So that was a really weird experience. Scott didn't look like he had a very good relationship with the lane markers. But I wasn't sure myself because the lane markers really were moving quite a bit. So I don't blame him for having trouble. I got to the subway, which, if you think about it, was a really safe place to be compared to Scott's car. But once I got to the subway station, that's when I got frightened. I got up to the turnstile and didn't know what to do, I just realized I'm in Los Angeles, or the Los Angeles area. So, do you know what a subway is? We have them in Canadian cities, but I got inside. I got on the subway platform, and I got horrified. The subway looked like it was made of paper, and it was going to collapse and spill me onto the track. So I dealt with that. Got down to my class. And I listened to this professor who I actually really liked talk about vector spaces. And you know how emotional you can get when you're high? I went over the top. I was listening to this lecture on algebra and thinking, this is the most amazing thing I've ever heard. I love it. This is so beautiful. Who made this up? And you won't believe it. You won't believe it. But that day, I changed my major subject from psychology to statistics. And once again, who loves statistics? I did sort of at the time. I actually like them a lot less now. But I actually made a career in statistics, and that all happened because I got stoned on peyote, and I went to a class in vector algebra. So that's part of my experience. So thank you.
Keeping over Canadian.